Good evening, hello and welcome. You're watching the Explosive Exclusive. My name is Pranesh. Kumar. With me is my colleague Poonam Burde.
And the story that we're tracking at this hour is the one that affects every single one of us. Now, India's economic growth may be on the right track, but the recent developments globally, including the Russian invasion of Ukraine, have put tremendous pressure on the Aam Aadmi because the prices of fuel have gotten extremely dearer.
It has also pushed the consumer, and it has basically put the Aam Aadmi and has put more pressure on the Aam Aadmi, which means, Poonam, that the Aam Aadmi will have to shell out more money.
Absolutely.
Whether you are paying for food, for fuel, or even your EMIs.
Absolutely, and that is what the RBI today came out and said, that because the inflation is so high and there is so much pressure on the banking system or on the country, which is why they've decided to increase the repo rate, which is exactly what happened today when a surprise announcement, or rather a shock announcement, came to the fore from the RBI governor. What that means for you, let me simplify it, because that means that our EMIs are going to go up. Be it your home loan, be it your car loan, you will have to shell more money now for every monthly installment that you pay. Where does that leave the Aam Aadmi? Because there is inflation, the prices of essentials have gone up, fuel prices are skyrocketing. When will the relief come to the fore? That is the question we are asking here on Times Now, and the numbers are flashing at the bottom of your screens. Do call us and share your views as to what you're hoping for the government to do now.
As the war draws on and sanctions and retaliatory actions intensify, shortages, volatility in commodity and financial markets, supply dislocations, and most alarmingly, persistent and spreading inflationary pressures are becoming more acute with every passing day. Debt distress is rising in developing world amidst capital outflows and currency depreciations.
Now, there are several burdens on the Aam Aadmi, so to say, and that has only increased, Pranesh, with the fact that our home loans, our car loans, all of our personal loans are now going to go up. Even before the announcement came today from the RBI governor, we did see a couple of banks, even 2 days ago, who had already hiked up the interest rates, which means our EMIs go up. Add to that the fuel prices that have gone up, the LPG cylinder price that has gone up. Inflation is, of course, rising. Unemployment is also at a high. All of which is only putting more pressure on the Aam Aadmi. There is no relief coming to the fore, or so it would seem, for the Janta of this country, who is now pinning its hope on the central government and respective states as well, at least as far as the fuel prices are concerned.
And while the Aam Aadmi is feeling the pinch, the politics will not stop. We have the first reaction from the Congress party. Randeep Singh Surjewala has put out a tweet. He's lashing out at the Modi government. He's put out a tweet. It says, Modi sarkar mein ghar chalana to dubhar hai hi, अब कर्ज लेना भी महंगा, 3 साल में एफडी पर जितना ब्याज मिला उससे ज्यादा महंगाई दर बढ़ गई। पीएफ पर ब्याज दर 8.5% से 8.1%, 40 साल में सबसे कम। अब ईएमआई भी महंगी। So Congress already asking questions of the Modi government.
And this is only going to escalate further, Pranesh. The political fight over that is only going to get even more shrill as we see more reactions coming to the fore, which is also why we want to know what the people of this country are thinking. What are you expecting from your respective state governments or from the central government in terms of relief coming to the fore? And our first caller is with us on this broadcast. Krishnamurthy from Visakhapatnam is with us. Yes, sir, go ahead.
Sir, see, regarding the savings, you know, what they are saying is, because the savings, if anybody, we cannot save for security. That is the problem. Now, how can they answer? If a senior citizen is there, he tries to save for his security of his future old age. What will be the consequences we have to face?
Absolutely, that's a valid point, especially for senior citizens. It is a concern that is coming to the fore because running a household is also becoming extremely expensive now, Pranesh, because your day-to-day needs, your essential commodities prices have also gone up.
And if you go by the commentary on social media, Poonam, people are asking one question. They are saying when elections come, how is it that things are under control? What changes then? And that is something that the government will have to come out and explain, because here you have a situation where the Aam Aadmi is feeling the pinch and the opposition is mounting pressure on the government, asking some fundamental questions.
Absolutely, and those questions include why exactly is this decision been taken by the RBI when there wasn't even a monetary policy meeting that was held. It did come as a surprise today when RBI Governor Shaktikant Das in the morning took to Twitter where he said that at 2 p.m. I'm going to be addressing a news conference. Now, that many people were hoping that there would be, or were expecting a change, so to say, in the lending rates. They were expecting a hike, but the fact that the hike was over 0.40% is something that has taken many by surprise.
Joining us, Rajiv, calling us from Jaipur. Sir, good evening. You're on Times Now. Please go ahead.
I want to say one thing, that the entire expenses which has risen is surrounding around the hike of petrol and number two, any government failure state and the rights taking place at the same also somewhat connected to this matter, that the government is getting failed day after day, whichever state they are belonging to. The chief ministers and the subsequent government should resign if they can't take over the responsibility of the state, and thereby disturbing the peace of the state people and the country as a whole. Thank you.
Right, Rajiv, thank you so much for calling us here on Times Now and sharing your views. To put this in perspective for us, Rishi Bagri, economist, joins us on this broadcast. Senior economist Dr. Santosh Mehrotra also with us. And Dr. Mehrotra, I'd like to get you in first now. It was a surprise announcement that definitely gave a shock to many people. Somewhat, it was on expected lines. There was an expectation of a certain amount of increase as far as the repo rate was concerned. But the fact that it was increased by 40 basis points is something nobody in the country seems to have been prepared for, especially not the Aam Aadmi.
Well, I don't know what the analysts were thinking.
It is inevitable that this was going to happen. We know perfectly well why it has happened. We know perfectly well that the U.S. Federal Reserve, which is the central bank of the United States, is planning to raise interest rates about 3 times this year. That is not surprising. And as U.S., Europe, and Japan, all of them come out of their overly easy money policy by raising interest rates, India will have to respond accordingly. So all that has happened is some preemptive action has been taken, and in any case, the governor had hinted on this, and this is absolutely what was called for. What is so surprising? I don't know what all the brouhaha about the surprise is.
Right, so Rishi Bagri, not so much surprising, but for the Aam Aadmi, who now seems to be engulfed in just shelling out more and more for every single thing, be it about refueling your car or be it about your LPG cylinders or your monthly kitchen budget that also has gone up. Now we have to start shelling out more for our EMIs as well. So where does that leave the Aam Aadmi?
No, you need to understand you cannot play the both sides. First of all, when the interest rates go down, you say that Aam Aadmi is not getting a higher fixed deposit interest. And once you start getting on a higher side, then you say that the EMI is going up. So you have to be, understand and sacrosanct about the total global scenario. When the rates are rising, you cannot just decoupled from the global scenario. When the US rates are piercing 3% in the bond rates, the Euro bonds are going up, the Japanese bonds are going up. You can't expect that Indian bond won't go up. And you need to understand this is a global phenomena. The price of the diesel, petrol, and the gasoline, the gases, every other commodity are actually interlinked with each other, and that is ruled by the international prices. And most of them has happened after the Ukraine. You see, only 10% petrol and diesel hike has been taken place in India, whereas in USA almost 70% hike has taken place. So you can see the difference between the hikes and all. This is the first time when the US petrol is selling at a higher price than the Indian petrol prices. But you need to understand the government is taking a very, very protective step for the Aam Aadmi. The focus has shifted from growth to inflation right now with this hike. And
Right.
why I'm saying the growth is not an issue now. You see the GST collection, which has been the highest. You see the highest housing sales. You see
Right.
the highest power consumption which is happening.
But where is the
highest
relief for the
growth
Aam
trading
Aadmi?
happening.
Mr. Bagri, we'll have to, unfortunately, we've run out of time. We'll have to thank both of you, Mr. Bagri, Mr. Mehrotra, for joining us on Times Now. Poonam, big breaking news.